In Europe, everyone always visits the same crowded places: the Eiffel Tower, Rome's tourist traps, and Venice's packed canals. But in fact, Europe has incredible destinations that are just as stunning without all the chaos. In today's video, we're revealing 20 hidden gems in Europe no one talks about. These locations will blow your mind. Before we start, here are some quick travel tips. Want cheaper stays and a grandma who feeds you like family? Ditch the hotels, go local with guest houses. And hey, download your maps before you go. Because Lost in Paradise only sounds fun until you're actually lost with 2% battery. We begin at Peloponnese, Greece. While everyone rushes to the Greek islands, this peninsula quietly holds some of the most important sites in human history, and most people have never heard of the Peloponnese, which is crazy because this is where Western civilization basically started. Also, the original Olympics happened here 2,000 years ago, and you can actually walk on the same track where ancient athletes competed completely naked. What's amazing is how peaceful everything still is. The beaches stretch for miles without a single resort in sight. Ancient ruins sit quietly in olive groves where the trees are so old they might have witnessed the Trojan War. It's like having all of ancient Greece to yourself, which is exactly what you get. From Greece's ancient heartland, we slip northwest across the Adriatic toward a quieter Croatian gem, Istria, Croatia. While everyone fights crowds in Dubrovnik, smart travelers discovered that Croatia's best-kept secret is actually up north. Istria is a heart-shaped peninsula that offers everything Croatia is famous for, but without the cruise ship chaos. The coolest part is what happens underground. Locals hunt for truffles with dogs whose noses are literally insured for thousands of euros because these mushrooms sell for more than gold. Above ground, hilltop towns like Madeira rise from morning mist like something from a fairy tale. Down on the coast, colorful fishing villages reflect perfectly in crystal clear water. And here's something that will surprise you. Pula has a Roman arena almost as big as the Colosseum, but you can explore it in complete peace without fighting crowds. Leaving the coast behind, we head inland and south into the Balkans, where a legendary stone arch connects centuries. Mostar, Bosnia, and Herzegovina. In the heart of the Balkans, there's a city with the most famous bridge you've probably never heard of. Mostar's stone bridge from the 1500s connects more than just two sides of a river. It connects cultures and centuries of history. What's incredible is that young locals still perform a 24-meter jump into the Emerald Neretva River below, carrying on a tradition that's lasted for hundreds of years. The real magic happens after sunset, when all the day trippers disappear and the old town completely transforms. Ancient stone houses glow with warm lamplight, and this is when you'll discover why Bosnian coffee isn't just a drink. It's a 2-hour ritual served in tiny cups with Turkish delight. The first sip is almost potent enough to raise the dead, but locals claim the final drop holds the key to happiness. Trading river valleys for high peaks, we ride the ridgelines north to a secret mountain world, High Tatras, Slovakia. Slovakia might be one of Europe's most overlooked countries, which is exactly why the High Tatras remain such an incredible secret. These mountains hide over 100 alpine lakes in colors so vivid they look like someone spilled liquid emeralds across the landscape. The water is so crystal clear, you can see fish swimming around 30 meters below the surface. What makes this place special is the complete solitude you'll find here. You can hike for hours without seeing another person, just wild mountain goats jumping across rocks and eagles soaring overhead. From alpine silence, we leap northwest to sea cliffs where the wind writes the weather by the minute. Faroe Islands. Imagine 18 volcanic islands floating in the middle of nowhere between Iceland and Norway, where sheep actually outnumber people 70,000 to 50,000. But these aren't ordinary islands. They're covered in grass roof houses where actual living grass grows on top, creating natural insulation while making the landscape look completely otherworldly. One village here, called Gassadalur, has only 11 residents, but hosts one of the world's most photographed waterfalls that plunges directly into the Atlantic Ocean. The weather here changes so quickly that locals say you can feel all 4 seasons in just 1 hour. Sailing east across the Norwegian Sea, the drama intensifies on a chain where mountains rocket straight from the surf. Lofoten Islands, Norway. Picture the most dramatic landscape you can imagine. Mountains rising straight out of the Arctic Ocean with no gradual slopes, just vertical rock walls shooting up over 1,000 meters. In the Lofoten Islands, you'll sleep in traditional red fishing cabins perched on stilts above water, so clear you can watch Arctic fish swimming beneath what will be your bedroom floor. Here's where things get completely surreal. You can actually surf in the Arctic Circle. People wear thick wetsuits and surf while snow covers the surrounding peaks. During summer's midnight sun, you could theoretically surf at 3 a.m. in full daylight, and locals actually do this. In winter, the northern lights dance overhead while you soak in outdoor hot tubs, creating a contrast that seems too magical to be real. Turning south again, we trade icy fjords for sunlit stone pillars rising from the Greek mainland. Meteora, Greece. Deep in central Greece, nature created something that looks like science fiction. Giant rock towers rising from the earth like stone skyscrapers, each one crowned with ancient monasteries. About 600 years ago, monks accomplished what seems impossible even today. They hauled massive stones, wood, and supplies up these sheer cliff faces using nothing but ropes and human determination. 6 monasteries still cling to these rocks, and some monks continue living exactly as their ancestors did centuries ago. You can only reach them by climbing stone steps carved directly into the living rock. The views from the top create an optical illusion where you feel like you're floating somewhere between earth and heaven. One monastery even appeared in a James Bond movie, but somehow this place remains surprisingly unknown to most travelers. From sky-high sanctuaries, we drop back into the forests and waters of a living, shifting masterpiece in the Balkans. Plitvice Lakes, Croatia. Nature created something here that honestly seems too perfect to be real. 16 terraced lakes connected by waterfalls in colors that shift from turquoise to emerald to deep blue throughout the day. What creates these impossible colors is a combination of minerals, microscopic organisms, and changing sunlight that essentially turns the entire park into a living art installation. You walk on wooden boardwalks that wind directly over crystal clear water where you can count individual fish swimming below your feet. But here's what makes this place truly special. The landscape constantly rebuilds itself. The limestone barriers that create natural dams slowly dissolve and reform over time, meaning the park you see today will look completely different in 50 years. Crossing into the Alps, the Cascades give way to mirror-still lakes and stories carved from salt. Salzkammergut, Austria. You might recognize this region from The Sound of Music, but the real Austrian Lake District is even more beautiful than what made it to the big screen. What makes this place extraordinary is the history hidden beneath the surface. People have been mining salt here for over 4,000 years, which is older than the Egyptian pyramids. Austrian emperors chose this region for their summer retreats, and once you see it, you'll understand exactly why. For a final change of pace, we drift west to a borderland where two cultures braid into one fairy tale. Alsace, France. Along the border between France and Germany lies a region that feels like someone brought Brothers Grimm fairy tales to life. Alsace spent centuries switching back and forth between French and German rule, creating a unique culture where residents seamlessly switch between languages mid-conversation, and the architecture looks like something from a storybook. Colorful half-timbered houses line streets, with flower boxes decorating every window. Strasbourg's Gothic cathedral houses an astronomical clock that's been accurately tracking celestial movements for over 500 years. But here's the local secret. Colmar's Little Venice section becomes absolutely magical at dusk, when colored lights reflect off the canals and the daytime crowds disappear. Next, we head to Bay of Kotor, Montenegro. Hidden deep in Montenegro's mountainous coastline is a bay so dramatic that early explorers mistook it for a Norwegian fjord. Instead, they discovered something even more spectacular, a Mediterranean bay surrounded by peaks that rise directly from warm, crystal-clear waters, creating scenery that changes dramatically around every bend. The medieval town of Kotor sits like a maze of ancient stone streets where hundreds of cats roam freely. You can climb 1,350 ancient stone steps up to San Giovanni Fortress for views that stretch across the entire bay system. There's even an artificial island called Our Lady of the Rocks that sailors created over centuries by dropping stones in the same spot after each safe voyage home. Swapping limestone peaks for volcanic cliffs, we head far into the Atlantic to a garden island with eternal spring, Madeira, Portugal. Floating in the Atlantic Ocean closer to Africa than Europe, Madeira rises from the depths like a subtropical paradise that somehow ended up in the wrong ocean. Known as the Floating Garden of the Atlantic, this volcanic island enjoys perfect spring weather year-round, while the rest of Europe deals with seasonal extremes. What makes Madeira truly special is its incredible levada system that is over 2,000 kilometers of irrigation channels carved through mountains and forests 500 years ago. These channels now serve as hiking trails, though. Leaving ocean breezes behind, we fly east to the Carpathians, where village time still moves at a horse's pace. Transylvania, Romania. Despite what Hollywood wants you to believe, the real Transylvania is actually a peaceful time capsule where medieval village life continues largely unchanged. Horse-drawn carts still share country roads with the occasional car, while shepherds guide their flocks through town centers exactly as their ancestors have done for countless generations. What makes this region truly magical is its Saxon heritage. German settlers built fortified churches in the 12th century that served as both places of worship and community refuges during Ottoman invasions. The best way to experience Transylvania is by staying with local families who maintain traditions passed down through generations. They'll cook incredible meals using recipes older than most countries and share stories about coexisting with Europe's largest population of wild brown bears roaming the surrounding forests. From forested valleys, we chase the sunset to Europe's far western edge, where cliffs, Gaelic and Atlantic swells rule the road. Wild Atlantic Way, Ireland. Stretching for 2,500 kilometers along Ireland's wildest coastline, this route reveals a completely different Ireland from the Dublin pub crawls that most tourists experience. Here, ancient Gaelic culture thrives in remote villages where Irish is often the primary language, and traditional ways of life continue much as they have for centuries. The dramatic coastline changes character constantly, from towering cliffs that make your knees weak to hidden beaches accessible only by scrambling down secret coastal paths. trading sea spray for steam and ice, we jump north to a land where glaciers and volcanoes share the same skyline. Vatnajökull National Park, Iceland. Covering an incredible 14% of Iceland's total landmass, this national park protects landscapes so alien and otherworldly that NASA actually uses them to train astronauts for future Mars missions. During summer, you can hike across volcanic landscapes that look exactly like scenes from science fiction movies. You have black sand deserts, colorful geothermal areas, and volcanic craters that create a planet within a planet experience and challenges everything you think you know about European landscapes. From fire and ice, we drift south to the Alps, where a mirror-still lake holds a castle and a wish-making bell. Lake Bled, Slovenia. Nestled in Slovenia's Julian Alps, Lake Bled creates what might be the most perfect fairy tale scene in all of Europe. This 14,000-year-old glacial lake reflects a medieval castle perched dramatically on cliff tops, while a tiny island sits precisely in the center, crowned with a church whose bell supposedly grants wishes to those who ring it. Traditional wooden boats called pletna, operated by families who have held this exclusive privilege for generations, ferry visitors to the island using rowing techniques that haven't changed in centuries. Despite its alpine setting, the lake maintains surprisingly warm water, perfect for swimming. Following the rivers downstream, we reach a capital where two great waterways meet, and the nightlife never blinks. Belgrade, Serbia. Built at the strategic confluence of the Danube and Sava rivers, Serbia's capital pulses with an energy that completely catches visitors off guard. This is Eastern Europe's most vibrant and welcoming city, yet most people couldn't even locate it on a map, which is exactly what keeps it authentic and exciting. Crossing the continent in a heartbeat, we land on the Baltic, where medieval walls guard a cutting-edge future. Tallinn, Estonia. Estonia's capital presents one of Europe's most remarkable contrasts. It's a perfectly preserved medieval old town surrounded by one of the continent's most digitally advanced cities. You can walk along 700-year-old city walls with intact defensive towers, then step into converted industrial districts buzzing with tech startups and cutting-edge design. Estonia invented Skype and provides free Wi-Fi throughout the city. Yet they maintain beautiful traditions like Christmas markets in ancient squares and midsummer festivals celebrating the country's pre-Christian heritage. It's a place where 800 years of history coexist perfectly with a digital future. Turning to the far northwest, the Baltic calm gives way to moors and mountains where legends ride the mist. Scottish Highlands, Scotland. The Scottish Highlands represent one of Europe's last truly wild frontiers. Vast landscapes where you can drive for hours through dramatic mountain passes, mysterious lochs, and valleys populated by more sheep than people. This is where ancient clan warfare shaped the rugged terrain and Gaelic culture survives in remote communities that feel completely removed from the modern world. For a grand finale, we trade peat and heather for sun-warmed limestone and 7 millennia of human story in the heart of the Mediterranean. Malta. Floating in the Mediterranean between Sicily and North Africa, this tiny island nation achieves something absolutely remarkable. It packs over 7,000 years of continuous human civilization into just 316 square kilometers. All of these while maintaining authentic culture and avoiding the tourist traps that plague larger destinations. Malta's ancient temples actually predate both Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids, making them among humanity's oldest freestanding structures, and they're perfectly aligned with celestial events proving our ancestors possessed sophisticated astronomical knowledge. The underground hypogeum demonstrates Stone Age acoustic engineering so advanced that whispers carry perfectly throughout its 3 levels, carved entirely from living rock. Valletta, Europe's smallest capital city, packs world-class Baroque architecture into easily walkable streets where every corner reveals new architectural treasures. Also, the crystal-clear Mediterranean waters surrounding Malta offer some of Europe's finest diving, including the famous Blue Hole off Gozo that consistently ranks among the world's top dive sites. Despite perfect year-round weather, incredible historical significance, stunning coastlines, and English as an official language, Malta remains surprisingly affordable and refreshingly authentic. Without doubt, it's truly Europe's best-kept secret hiding in plain sight. Which secret destination captured your imagination? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to check out our next video, Hidden Gems in Miami. No one talks about, it is packed with real travel insights. Click here to watch it now, and we'll see you in the next one.